and welcome to PrepEve, where we revolutionize how you prepare for IELTS. Today we are going to begin with essay writing because we have with all the three letters and have dealt with task achievement in each one of them. So today's task would be to cater to the very first parameter of essay writing, which is task response. So let's begin. मैम आप टास्क रिस्पॉन्स और पैरामीटर्स क्यों पढ़ा रहे हो? मुझे अच्छे से ऐसे लिखना सिखा दो बस. That is what I need. Is this what you are looking for? Ma'am, don't bother about the parameters. Just let me know how do I get 8 bands in my essay. I'm sorry, my friend. I am not going to tell you how a good essay is written. I am going to tell you how to focus on the parameters that automatically you end up writing a good essay. So we'll be focusing on the parameters, and right now I'm going to tell you the importance of the very first parameter of essay writing, which is task response. So there are 4 parameters: task response, cohesion and coherence, lexical resource, grammar, grammatical range and accuracy. These are the 4 parameters, and the first parameter is of utmost importance. Only when you fulfill these will you be in a position to fulfill the other 3. Let's understand this from an example, and a heads up to all the software engineer from whom this particular example is inspired. So first of all, whenever a client comes up to you and wants a software made out of you, what do? You sit with the client, understand the needs and demands of that particular client. You sit with them, you understand what they want. Okay, this is called your requirement gathering, if I'm not wrong. You gather the information, or you gather the required aspects or the needs and demands of your client. This is exactly what you have to do in your task response. You have to think of your essay as your client. You have to understand what your client, which is your essay, is asking you to do. Whether the client is asking you to give your opinion, disadvantages, advantages, or whether you're agreeing or disagreeing to it, or you have to discuss. So these are the things that you have to understand while you're reading the essay question. Think about your client as your essay question. Sit there, admire your essay question, see it, reread it thrice, twice, thrice, as many times as it takes you to understand the requirements of your essay question. Only when you understand what the question asks you to do will you be in a position to develop a good software design, which is the content of your essay. If you don't understand what your client wants out of you, you will not be able to have an outline. So your outline is made only once you have a good understanding about what the client is asking you from, or what the essay is asking out of you. Next step is your programming, and the final step is your quality assurance. How is it linked? Only when you give a good outline, a good content to the essay's requirement, you will be able to finish it properly and assure quality. And quality comes when you have good lexical resource and grammar in your essay, and your outline comes with your good software design, which is your coherence basically, and your cohesion would be incorporated automatically if you have your task response steady and properly understood. So you have to understand what your task is asking you to do, what your client wants you to do, gather the information and put it out in terms of a good essay. 90% of software projects fail exactly because of a flaw in your requirement gathering phase, which parallels to the task response phase of our essays. And that is the reason we come across this figure n number of times when we are dealing with our candidates who come up to us for guidance, which is yes, you score 9 in listening, 8.5 in reading, 6.5 in writing, 7.5 in speaking. This 6.5 syndrome is basically because you don't understand task response when it comes to essay writing. Somebody who scores 9 in listening, 8.5 in reading and 7.5 in speaking is someone who knows what English language is all about. Why then do you score 6.5, or why then do you get stuck at 6.5 in spite of scoring so well in the other other skills? That's because you fail to understand the needs of your essay or the needs of your letter, and you get stuck at this point. And because of ruining your task response, the other parameters get screwed. And because of this, when you mess up with your task response, you also mess up the other 3 parameters because they are interrelated. So it is very important and essential to understand what the essay question is asking you to do, and focus, at least spend 5 minutes to understand what the question is asking you to do. Let's take a quick recap of what in fact task response is. So task response, when it comes to essay writing, has 4 factors under it, which are: pay attention to all issues in the question. So in your essay question, you have certain issues that you have to respond to. Only when you respond to these issues or these tasks, you will be able to score good in task response parameter. So what are the issues? For example, in an essay question which asks you to tell the advantages, disadvantages and the opinion, you have to respond to each one of them. You have to tell the advantages, disadvantages and opinion. Missing out on any one of them would have a negative impact on your band score when it comes to task response. And as you must be aware, task response carries the weightage of 25% in your essay writing. So we have to be very careful to address all the issues that are being asked to us in the essay question, right? Moving on to the second point, write about the issues instead of the general topic. This can be understood beautifully with one live example that I have come across in the last 1 week, which was when I asked you to send me essays for evaluation. The topic of the essay was the impact of tourism on local culture and whether banning tourism would help in preserving local culture or not. So what was the general topic of this particular essay? It was tourism. What was the specific topic? What was the issue at hand? The issue at hand was its impact on local culture. And I've assessed 50 or 150 plus essays of this particular topic, and I have come across the same mistake in which you guys have dealt with the impact of tourism on national economy or development instead of focusing on the impact of tourism on local culture. So you understand, I hope now you realize what went wrong when it comes to task response. Write about the issue instead of general topic. You don't have to tell the benefits and the disadvantages of tourism. You have to tell the impact of tourism on local culture and whether banning tourism would help or not. I hope I'm clear. Address the issue, not the general topic. Plan your controlling ideas so that you don't go off topic. Controlling ideas are basically the ideas that you write in your body paragraphs. You at least need 2 controlling ideas. The first controlling ideas goes in your first body paragraph and the second controlling idea would go in your second body paragraph. Doing so would help you. First of all, controlling ideas should be related to the issue. If in advance you understand the question properly and understand what the issue at hand is, you will be able to create ideas, controlling ideas that are related to the issue and not the general topic, right? Number 2, controlling ideas would help you outline and structure your answer so that you don't go off topic or focus on the general topic. So this is another important factor. Controlling ideas should be related to your specific issue at hand and not to your general topic. Lastly, it's the word limit. You have to adhere to the word limit, which is of 250 words. I have emphasized it enough. I'll say it out again. Write at least 250 words. Do not write even a single word less than 250 words. It would cause you a penalty. So focus on writing more than 250 words. That's about it for task response. These are the highlighting factors that you have to cater to. Now coming to task response in layman language. This was pretty technical, I guess, though it's still easy. I hope you've understood. Let's understand it from this perspective. If I ask you, where do you stay? The city of your residence. And you tell me the country of your residence, that makes no sense at all. You haven't achieved the task response. I was asking the city of your residence and not the country. So if you tell me that you stay in so and so country, for example, you tell me you stay in India, that's wrong. That's not what I wanted to hear. For example, I ask for your surname and you tell me your first name. Yet again, you're not dealing with the task response, though your answer is right. You're catering to the question. I'm asking your name, but I was specific. I'm asking about your surname or your last name, but you're telling me about your first name. That's wrong. A parallel example to this is the same. General topic is tourism. The issue at hand is the impact of tourism on local culture and nothing else. Focus, limit yourself, tourism, local culture, that's it. Don't go to development of India or another country or how it's impacting the income of or generating employment for the local community. Don't think about that. Just focus on what the question is asking you to do. I hope I'm making sense and you're understanding what the point is. Task response sounds very easy, but most of the people, in fact, I would say 90% of the people fail here. The ceiling is 90%. They don't understand what task response is, and if you don't understand the question, what you write inside doesn't really matter. If you don't know what the question is asking and you straight away start writing, it's going to be a very devastating essay and wouldn't make any sense. So it's better that you focus on the question, take time, understand the question, take 5 minutes, understand, reread the question, read it twice or thrice, understand properly what the question is asking you to do. Only then should you be picking up the pen to write and start your answer. Okay? Now that we have taken the recap of task response, what is the way to understand it practically? It is through discussing the types of questions that can come in your IELTS test. There are multiple types of essay questions. They end with different endings and ask you different tasks and different things to do. We have to identify what the question is asking. And today in this video, we have simplified it and broadly divided it into 3 categories. We are not messing it up as other YouTube channels usually complicate it, and even coaching institutes, because I've personally experienced this. Candidates have come up to me and told me that there are like 15 types of essay questions and it's confusing the hell out of him as to how to attempt each one of them. So today I would try to simplify it as much as possible and make you understand each one of them. These are basically called directives. They direct your answer writing. They tell you what the question is asking you to do. They give you a direction. They give your essay a direction. So you have to focus on these directives. Only then you will be able to score good in your task response. So there are 3 categories broadly: choose a side, view both sides, describe and explain. In the first side, you have to choose a side, pick a side. These are broadly divided into 4. There can be other variants of the same, but we have concised it to these so that they broadly fit into these categories. First of all, give your opinion. There's this tiny tip that I would like to give you here. Whenever you read a question, translate it into your mother tongue. Translate it into your mother tongue, understand what the question is asking you to do. If I do it in Hindi, the opinion based questions would be like, aapko kya lagta hai? You have a topic, you have an essay statement, and then that essay statement would be followed by something like, what do you think? Aapko kya lagta hai? So आपको अच्छा भी लग सकता है, बुरा भी लग सकता है. You might like it, you might not like it, you might find all positive things about it, you might find all negative things about it. You might have a balanced approach as well. So you can take any stance in this particular type of question when you are asked what do you think, what is your opinion. Your opinion is your personal opinion and the IELTS examiner has nothing to do with what you think. All that matters is how you write it down, how you express it on the sheet of paper. So focus on the English, but also make sure you put your ideas, you give your opinion properly. Right? I hope we are done with the opinion based questions. Coming to agree or disagree. The question here would be, the translation in Hindi, or I would request you to do it in your own mother tongue, would be, क्या आप इससे सहमत है या नहीं? Do you agree or not? You have to take one side. If you agree with the essay statement, just say yes, I agree. Give two supporting statements. आप क्यों agree करते हो? Why are you agreeing to a particular thing? Why do you think that it is right? Give 2 or 3 supporting statements. मैं इसलिए agree करता हूँ क्योंकि. So you give 2 reasons and you support it with an example each. Similarly, if you choose the disagree part, you say मैं सहमत नहीं हूँ. I disagree and give 2 points to support why you disagree to that particular topic. To what extent? This is the keyword here. कितना सहमत करते हैं? जब कोई पूछ रहा है कितना सहमत करते हैं, that means that they expect that you might disagree also, or you might agree 80% and the rest 20% कहीं ना कहीं आप disagree कर रहे हो. तो you have to understand the extent to which you agree or disagree. हो सकता है किसी चीज़ से आप इतना सहमत हैं, बट कुछ है एक आधी exception. There might be 1 or 2 exceptions that is supposed to be mentioned when you are disagreeing. So I agree to so and so thing because blah blah blah, but I disagree in this particular case. There is one exception, so I disagree. Or I disagree to a certain topic because 1 reason, 2 reason, and in the 3rd paragraph you can just say, but I agree slightly because this is the positive that I see in the particular topic. Don't worry if you're getting confused here. I would take each one of them and take each example in the next lecture and you will understand it better through the example. So right now just understand to what extent do you agree or disagree. You can agree 80% to something and might disagree. This could be some exception. Okay, so there might be some exception and you can write that exception, right? Lastly, it's preference, your preference, whether you agree to something or not based on your preference. 1, 2, 3. What's your priority of agreeing to something or disagreeing to something? So these are preference based questions. I hope I'm clear. If you're not clear, don't worry. We'll help you explain each one of them in our following lectures through examples, and we'll make sure that you have clarity when it comes to these directives. The second category is view both sides. Both sides, you have to view both sides of the essay topic. In this particular kind of question, you would be asked to tell the advantages and the disadvantages of the question, or the positives and the negatives of the essay statement or the essay topic that is given to you. The other variation is advantage, disadvantage plus your opinion. You give the advantages, then you give your disadvantages, then you give your opinion. What do you think about it? Whether you agree with the advantages or with the disadvantages. So you give your opinion in the end. Third type is discuss. You have to discuss a particular topic at hand, and when you discuss something, you obviously tell about both the advantages and disadvantages of that topic. This has slight variation wherein they can also ask you whether the advantages are more than the disadvantages or lesser than the disadvantages. So these are the things that you have to focus on here. So this is more of weighing both the options, advantages as well as disadvantages. The last category is describe or explain. These are divided into 2: problem, solution, or cause and effect. So there's a problem and you have to give the solution to that particular problem. Pretty easy. So they give you a cause, there's a case study, there's a problem, and you have to give the solution in 2-3 ideas. with 2-3 ideas, know how to solve that thing. Direct questions are yet again something that they ask you directly, and you have to give your controlling ideas and form the question.
Go.
This was such a boring lecture. Pata nahi ma'am ne kya hi padha diya. So confusing. I know you must be feeling this way, but please relax. Trust me, this is one of the most important lectures when it comes to essay writing. Yes, it is one of the most important lectures. Please review this one more time. Understand the small variations between each one of these directives, because only if you understand the directives will you be able to address the question properly and respond to the tasks at hand. As I said in the beginning, whenever a software engineer is approached by a client, they understand the requirements of the client. So understand the requirements of the essay, and that is possible only when you understand these directives and what they are asking you to do, because this is what decides how specific your topic is. General topic is tourism, specific topic is your views on that, whether it impacts local culture or not, whether banning it would help or not. So this is what you have to understand. I know this might sound very bugging and irritating, even I have repeated it like n number of times in this particular video, but this is just because I want this to stay in your head so that you grasp it properly. That's the only ambition behind repeating the same thing again and again. I request you to take some time out and revisit this particular lecture. Also, if you don't understand any part of it, just don't worry. Tomorrow we'll be picking up the very first directive and the very first variant of that directive. We'll be making you understand that directive through a sample question, and we'll help you out structure that question and help you in understanding how you dwell into the ideas. So stay with us, be patient, because essay writing is a little tricky, and when you understand this particular part, I swear you will be able to do the entire essay brilliantly without any problem. This is the problematic area. This particular part, task response, is the problematic area, because coherence and cohesion is where letter helps you. You know coherence and cohesion, you know lexical resources, you know grammatical range and accuracy, because these three are common with your letter. What is different is task response. There you have to achieve your task, here you have to respond to the task, respond to each and every part of the question. So yes, you have to understand the question, only then you will be able to pen down the essay flawlessly. What you require is clarity of thought. Yes, clarity of thought is what you need, and following us and our future lectures would help you in getting that clarity of thought. Thank you so much. That's it for today. I know it was a bit heavy, but stay tuned with us. This is what you need, and the rest is sorted. Thank you so much.